Damn, it's been 2 weeks since Mother's Day. I'm in my 30s now, and I've never once celebrated Mother's Day with my mom. I've never even gotten her a card. It's important to note that with the video that I'm about to show you, that it's not in an attempt to embarrass my mother. I just need to get this story off my chest, even if I'm not a great storyteller. A story about a mother raising me, my brother, my sister, in the quiet state of Iowa. Hey guys, I had a great Mother's Day with my mom. And the reason I say it like that is because I never thought that I would ever be able to say that. Why would I think that way? Well, I wrote a little story for you guys. Growing up, my younger siblings and I, we didn't have a mother that showed us affection. In fact, she wouldn't even give us the time of day if we just wanted to talk or something. And, now I realize, well, that's how she was raised, so she passed that down to, parenthood, and, now, I'm not so sour about it, but, back then, So it'd be really no surprise to you guys when I say that she didn't bathe us, she didn't clothe us, she didn't feed us. Basically, we had to do as well for ourselves as children could do. I mean, even doing things as simple as going out into public, we were always filthy and overly stressed and sweating the small things. So we were sad and messy children. And because of this, the inevitable happened. We got a knock at our door. Turns out, it was a social worker. Those type of people that take children away from unfit parents. Rightfully so. She came over to let us know that from here till an unknown period of time, they were going to visit us and make sure everything was on the up and up. So she left, and we, started talking to each other about, whoa, what are we going to do? And our mom's like, well, we got to make sure that, we clean up this place the best we can before the visits and, just put on a show. Basically, the first visit, incredible. She's such a nice lady. We got that impression from the first time she came over, but, she really got, she brought over crayons, coloring books, snacks, juice boxes just for us. And it's almost like she was a relative that we never knew. And it's like, oh, we're supposed to put on the show, but it's so easy because she's so nice, so giving. So we couldn't hate her. And but by the time she would leave, she'd just be walking out the front door. We'd all three be looking through the blinds, waiting for her car to disappear in the distance. And boom! All of a sudden we explode like tornadoes all over the house and mess it up again. And we did this routine for several months, and, well, it all came to a halt. The lady gave Mom a call, let her know, yeah, everything seems like it's just fine, so you are off the hook. So the lady left us alone. And while us kids were having a good time with this social worker lady bit, our mom wasn't. In fact, she was under a lot of stress because of it. So she got the idea to hire regular babysitters. Now, I'm not going to try to exaggerate too much here, but I'm pretty sure that our mom would have handed us off to Hannibal Lecter if he didn't charge her any money. She did zero background checks. She didn't even try to get to know these people. She just gave them, Walmart brand Pop-Tarts and $50 and said, here, take them off my hands. And at this point, we didn't get to see our mom every day, but every day that we did get to see her, we were always, crying to her, letting her know that these people were straight up abusive. They're just god-awful, and, they actually get physical too, so it wasn't a good thing at all. Just all bad. Now, for the record, my brother and sister got the worst of it, and I need to make that clear because after a year of being at the same abusive babysitter as them, I ended up going to my grandmother and grandfather's, but it wasn't that much different because they were very emotional creatures and also pretty dang violent when it got to that point. So after a few years of our mom ignoring our cries to, not drop us off at the bad people's place and all that, she finally broke after a few crazy events happened, none of which I can describe to you. One word comes to mind: inhumane. She finally said, okay, you know what? No more babysitter, I swear to you. And we couldn't believe it. It was like one of the most exciting moments in our life, really. So life was much better. Our mom was making good money. She actually did a Christmas for us, a birthday. Like, she was trying, off and on she was trying. And, we even did family pictures. Like, that's unheard of for us. Because that was being, together as a family. Fast forward to the year 2000. I'm in the middle of school, and my name is called to the principal's office. Everybody's like, ooh, and I left. I went through the front door. My mom is in there crying. And in my mind, I'm thinking, Grandma is in the hospital, and she's been there for a while now. She has to be gone. And turns out she was. So at this point, we're just dealing with the fact that Grandma's gone. We cried every other day, and it didn't stop for a really long time. But even a couple months after she passed, my brother and sister and I, we were laying out on the living room floor, watching cartoons, minding our own business, and our mom walks in and says, hey, would you guys like to go to Adventureland? And it's like, dude, she just got her tax money. She wants to blow it on us? What? That doesn't seem like her. So we were like, oh my God, really? And she's like, yep, you're going in a few days. Make sure to pack your essentials. And we're like, okay, great. And my brother and sister and I were all just laying on the floor like, wow, Mom really wants to take us? Yeah, I guess so. She wants to spend money on us. and we were just talking about eating all the cotton candy we wanted, drinking the pop, and having hot dogs, and riding the rides. We were excited. It was one of the greatest theme parks in Iowa. Well, only theme park, but still, we were really excited. Our mom wanted to do some with us. So 3 days go by. Me, my brother and sister and I, we were all done with our stuff. We walked out there, and there's a lady that pulls up in front of the house. Our mom shouts out at us from the front door. She's like, hey, guys, go ahead, go in the car. And so we get into the back seat. The driver turns around. Turns out it's our mom's old best friend named Rhonda. And she had moved away from Iowa to North Carolina, a few years before that time. And she's like, all right, guys, get your seatbelts on. So we were like, whoa, somebody cares that we put a seatbelt on. We're not used to that. We, clicked the belts, and we slammed the doors, and we booked it on the road. And it was quite a trip. I can't even really remember it, but a few days into the car ride, I woke up really early in the morning. Everybody else was asleep. And I didn't even talk to Rhonda in the driver's seat. I was too intimidated. She seemed like a high-end lady. And so I kept quiet. I looked out the window. I was like, does it really take 3 days to get to Adventureland? And I saw a road sign in the distance. And it started coming up. And I was like, okay, good. We have some answers. It finally came up, and I read, welcome to North Carolina. So our mom lied to us. Lied to our extended family. Everybody was so hyped for us to go out and have fun because they knew our mom never really did anything with us. And yeah, we left our home state, and we had no clue what was going to happen. But by the time we got out of the car, we were just thinking, what? This is insane. My siblings, they had no clue what was going on. I didn't say that I told them that we were in North Carolina, but it caught up to them too. And so, yeah, we just made the best of it. We accepted it eventually after being upset about it. And we made some friends. I got into fights. Well, I mean, I didn't really get into fights. It's just people threatened me a whole lot, even though I didn't really talk much. And I don't know, my brother did some vandalism and got knocked out by an old man. But hey, we made the best of it. So after 5 years of that, we came down to the end of that 5 years, and our mom met someone, and he became her new partner, and she always sided with him, which wouldn't be that big of a deal if he didn't turn out to be one of the biggest abusers we've ever met. But we all decided to visit Iowa, see some family. By that time, everybody was like excited to see us, and it was pretty incredible. We felt, important all of a sudden. And, by the time our trip was supposed to end, we decided to stay, which was great. And we all moved into a house. And that right there, that was a miserable few years. Like, we got to see the true colors of her partner, and he would spit on us. I'm not even gonna get into all the laundry. Eventually, my brother and I, we had enough of all of that, so we picked up and got out without a plan of where we were gonna stay. Didn't have money, none of that. But we figured everything out. We found some people to stay with for a little while until we got it back on our feet. And down the line, my younger brother and I, we saved up enough to leave that place and move into our own apartment. And every time we saw our mom and our partner out and about, we would totally ignore them. They were trying to get our attention. They thought that time passing would make us forgive them, even though they never asked for forgiveness. So it's like, that's not how it works, man. But eventually her partner did pass away, and our mom turned into a big mess again, as if grandma wasn't enough to set her off and make her do crazy things. But we ended up taking her in, trying to take care of her emotionally, and we took care of all the expenses, and eventually she found an apartment and moved out. So not too long after our mom moved out, I realized that none of our family really cared much about each other. After a while, I started absorbing what was going on in my life. I kept thinking to myself, all of our history, like as far as, us not being fed and all that stuff, and then, us not trying to be involved in each other's lives a little more, like all that stuff built up over so many years came crashing down on me, like a hammer to a nail, and I couldn't deal with that sort of depression, so it hit me hard, and I started going into alcohol. I did that for 10 years and kept pushing my family away, kept saying, no, we're not like those people on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or the Family Matters. We didn't get excited about seeing each other. We didn't really hug that much. It just didn't matter. Life was just going by, and we didn't care about each other. It felt like I did my best to take care of my depression. I would go to counselors, didn't work. Audios, videos, books, it just didn't work, none of it. Eventually, I got a Netflix account, and one night I was, boozing, and I was like, I stumbled on a movie called The Secret, and the message of the movie The Secret is that you think positively, you're going to get positive results. And that was huge for me, because like things did start happening by themselves because I was thinking positively about them. And, I was like, dude, if I could do that, then I could do that to every area of my life. And that's what happened from here to that, So I got out of my funk. My depression was just totally gone. And I started to realize that when you think a certain way, that you start to behave a certain way, and then you start to make results that certain way. Well, I started to do that in every area of my life, trying to follow my sword, trying to say, well, maybe I could have approached it differently. And from that point on, like, I did my best to improve my relationship with my family. I let the past be the past. And I mean, for Mother's Day, we didn't even do much, but I did buy her a cake and said, Happy Mother's Day. And she said, I mean, I told her, yeah, I didn't write on it like I planned to. I didn't get her a card like I planned to. And she just leaned back. She was like, you know what? Just being with you guys, that's all I need. That's all I need. And that really hit home, you know. And that's all I have to say. I mean, even if you have a bad relationship with your mom, you know, or anything or anybody, you can change it. I just really appreciate the way things are happening now. And now is all that matters. I love you, Mom.